Alright, this is the first exercise that I used to fix my dysfunctional hips. Basically, it is a variant of a single leg cross-body kettlebell swing. And the reason why it works is because running and all sports are single leg activities. And this teaches just one side to extend the hips properly. In my case, my left side is generally dysfunctional. And so I'm showing what it looks like to fix that side. Now, basically my right leg is nothing but a kickstand. I'm not putting any significant weight on it. It maybe is taking like less than 5% of my weight simply out there to stabilize. As you can see, I'm generating the power from my hips. I'm not using my back. I'm getting very strong contraction in my glutes. When you're doing this movement, you also need to focus on keeping the weight on the inside of your foot. You should have about 50% of the weight on your heel and the other 50% underneath your big toe on your forefoot. You want all of the weight centered there, not on the outside of your foot. All right, this is the next exercise that I did, and it's very similar. It is another hinge movement. This is just a single leg cross arm Romanian deadlift, okay? And again, the entire focus here is using the glutes and the hamstring to stabilize. Now I want you to notice my hip of my leg that's in the air. Think about closing that distance between your hip and your knee. You want to focus on internal rotation here, not external rotation. Okay, so from the side here, you can see my right hip. Think about bringing that right hip closer to the floor as you bend down. Okay, that should keep internal hip rotation and also keep that glute firing properly. And the last exercise that I have here is just weighted rear lunges. And same thing, you're going to be just, again, focusing on keeping that contact on the inner foot. Okay? That is what is key. Don't think about your shin, don't think about anything else. Just think about keeping balance between fore and aft and keeping balance inward instead of outward on your foot. Now, the easiest way to develop a new neural pattern is frequency. And so the general concept that I follow is based off of Pavel Tsatsouline's concept of greasing the groove, which he talks about in some of his kettlebell books. Here I'm just showing what you should be doing with your feet to increase contraction if you're having difficulties. Putting your heels slightly outward will bias towards internal rotation, which is going to help with that glute activation. I'm just going to keep the exercises playing while I talk and continue to explain greasing the groove. Greasing the groove basically is just the concept of very frequent submaximal efforts. Okay, I live in a very tiny place. My square footage is probably like maybe 500 square feet, and my kettlebells are occupying a fair amount of that square footage. And so for me, every time I pass them, I'll just do something like 20 reps. And it might not even be of every single exercise. I might just do 20 reps of these single leg swings. But I'm spamming them multiple times throughout the day. I'm doing them as a warm-up. I might do them after exercise. If I'm not doing a cardio event, then I might just do them exclusively and just try to get a ton of reps throughout the day. And I think that this is really what reinforces a new neurological pattern and breaks you out of dysfunction. Generally, I feel like most people focus too much on external rotation, which is why they start having IT band issues, lower back pain, all these other things. And really, it's just because they are not activating things properly. And these movements, especially when you focus on bringing your outside hip down and you focus on internal rotation by keeping weight on the inside of your foot, you recreate that balance and the hip will begin to move in the way that it's supposed to move. When you're doing all of this stuff and then it's starting to incorporate cardio again, then you're reinforcing proper biomechanics and proper movement form which will gradually then transition to sport and allow you to do your sport while using the proper neuromuscular activation instead of continuing dysfunction. You can do other exercises such as Bulgarian split squats, all sorts of lunge variations. Step ups are also good. The main takeaway that I want you to think about is that your glutes are controlled by your foot and how you weight your foot. And glute activation is a consequence of position rather than you just being able to squeeze it or not, right? So you being able to squeeze it is not a good indicator of if you're getting good contraction. And that's because you gain your ability to use your glutes because of a position, and that's a balanced position between internal and external rotation, as opposed to being biased towards external. When you're biased external, no matter how hard you squeeze your glutes, you're not getting the activation that you actually need, and that's the main takeaway. So butt stuff and foot stuff